Hi and welcome to another Memories Made video. I'm designer Jen Gallacher and today we're going to be creating a layout about myself. Now I'm going to confess right here, I hate having my picture taken. I'm much more comfortable being behind the camera. So recently I've been challenging myself to be in more photographs. And so I went outside on my front porch and just asked my daughter to take a bunch of photographs, and we probably took about 50 and I probably liked 2 or 3. But it's encouraging me to include myself in my scrapbooks, and it's important to do so. And I've cropped these for use on this layout later. But basically, I want to challenge you this week to, if you're not in your scrapbooks, have someone take your photo, whether it's a selfie with a phone or have a friend that does it. Just start including some more photos of yourself in your scrapbooks. So to start today's layout, we're going to use a pink paisley pattern paper from Cottage Farms. And it's pink on one side, and we're going to use the more neutral side. And we're going to cut off that tab at the top. And then I'm going to be combining some collections today that are feminine. And I'm going to start with some Maggie Holmes fabric frames. And these are canvas and they're a little bit flimsy, but they have fun little details on a lot of them, like stitching and this loved. This was already done on this particular frame. Then I'm also going to be using some of the Beautiful Life collection from Echo Park Paper, and I cut out these 3x4 cards from that collection, and we're going to go ahead and adhere them to our layout just with some adhesive. And I cut out this bingo card, and I also cut out this kind of Valentine looking card. And this is not a Valentine collection, but it does have fun Valentine elements in it. And we'll just use both of them. And I just want to make sure that they work together. Then from the Mayberry collection by American Crafts, I'm going to add this little journaling card. And I just like layering a lot of different elements. Then from the Pure collection, I have this fun little flag, and it already has a little tab sticker on the back. And then I like to add die cut pieces, and I have this little Sizzlits frame. It is called Sizzlits Little Leaves, and it's a Stampin' Up leaf. And it creates this beautiful leaf shape. And I cut 2, and then I left 1 intact, and then I cut some of the leaves off one of the others. And we're going to go ahead and add it behind this frame, but I'm just going to place them there until I see where the frame goes. So then I want to place my frame on top, and these are not adhesive, so you have to add some kind of adhesive to them. You can add glue dots or sticky tape. I'm going to go ahead and place my photo on the page right on top of those elements I already added. And then I can add the frame on top of that. And again, they are a little flimsy, so make sure when you're placing them down that you keep them as straight as possible. Then we're going to use the second photo. One thing that I suggest, if you have photos that maybe you don't necessarily love, is that you can always change them to black and white. I almost always love a photo better once I see it in black and white. So if you have some self-portraits that you've taken, try changing them to black and white and see if you don't love them just a little bit more. Make sure we have this photo all in the frame, and again, make sure it's as straight as possible. And now that we know where the frame placement is going to be, I can go ahead and add these leaves. And I am simply going to paint on the back of them with some glue. And it's a glue runner, and I say paint because it has a little brush, and I just paint that adhesive right on the back. I usually try and cut 2 layers of this kind of shape, whether it's a butterfly or a leaf. It gives it a little bit more dimension. You can do what I did and cut the layers down a little bit. You could even use adhesive pop dots or foam dots behind the cuts to give them some additional dimension. So you can see it just makes my cuts look a little bit thicker. Now at the bottom of the layout, I want to add some strips, and I took some of the Beautiful Life pattern paper, and this is from their strips, their border strips pattern paper. and I simply cut out the borders. Now if you have scratch pieces of paper, this is a great way to use them up. Just cut out some strips, and you can leave some of them straight, and you can cut some of them to have kind of a pennant shape at one end. You can cut some at a diagonal, so you can do whatever you like. And then we're going to layer these on the bottom here. And I'm going to come off the page with these a little bit. And this one I'm going to keep straight, and then I can come back and trim that excess off in just a bit. This musical note paper is very charming because it has little hearts on the pattern paper for the musical notes, and I think that's really cute. So we're just bringing some of those bright happy colors down below, and then make sure they're straight on your page, and then you can just turn your page over and trim off those excess paper strips. It's a good way to make sure that they're cut nice and straight. All right, and then my journaling talks a little bit about my feelings about myself recently and how I'm trying to improve and change things about myself. And I have printed it on craft cardstock, and I'm just going to take a brown ink pad, and I'm going to ink the edges just to make it stand out a little bit more, and then we'll add it to those paper strips. This is kind of a more casual design, less linear than some of the others that I do, but I just like the look of layering. So I want to add a little bit of washi tape, and I'm going to use this pink diagonal stripe. You can use whatever one you want, and we'll just layer that on top there. Then from the pattern paper, I have some doily pattern paper, and I fussy cut this charming little doily from it, and I just simply cut around the edge of the doily, and we're going to add this to the layout. So if you have pattern paper, especially scraps you need to use up, think about fussy cutting it. Then to match the look of the die cut, I wanted a slightly larger doily, and we're going to layer these. Tuck that one right underneath. And then in the center of this large white doily, I'm taking one of the stickers off the Element sticker sheet. It says you and me, and even though typically when you think you and me, you think of you and someone else, this is all about me. So I'm going to go ahead and use this anyway. You'll notice there are little elements that say things like loved and hearts, because the journaling discusses how I'm trying to improve myself and make changes. Then to give this sticker a little bit more dimension, the little butterfly sticker, from the same Element sticker sheet, I have another butterfly. And this is a fun technique you can use. If you have a manufacturer that has an image on pattern paper, see if they have a similar image in a slightly larger shape on their Element sticker sheet or in a die cut, and then you can layer them. So you can see I just layered that on top there. Then I have some lost and found enamel dots, and we're going to add some enamel dots to this project with the red. Just add a few. And then at this top corner here, I'm going to add some pennants. And I have some stickers from the Beautiful Life Element sticker sheet, as well as some from a summer picnic line from Little Yellow Bicycle. And before I do that, I wanted to add a little bit of stamping. And so I selected a stamp that says loving life with you by my side, rather. And we're going to subtly stamp this at the top of this frame. And to do that, I'm going to use Stampin' Up's Crumb Cake collection. I will link you to some other brown inks. This is my favorite ink color, Crumb Cake, for use with craft or for subtle stamping like this. And we're going to overlap that fabric frame and press firmly, because that fabric frame can make it difficult for the stamp to take. So I just love that nice cursive, and that's a Technique Tuesday stamp. It's an older stamp, but I'll link you to some other options. I love Allie Edwards' handwriting. She has beautiful handwriting. So with this pennant, don't be afraid to combine different companies' elements. We are going to place it on our layout like this, and I can add more or less to the pennant depending on what I'm feeling like. I can stretch it so that it overlaps like this. I don't really want to overlap my title, so I just continue to play with it until I kind of get it where I want it. And I just want to make sure that this sticker does not overlap too much of that title. And then these chipboard pieces do not have adhesive on them, and so you have to use a glue dot or some other kind of adhesive to make them stick. And they're just cute little picnic colors. And just go ahead and overlap them. Doing this using stickers and both chipboard elements gives it a little bit more dimension than if you just used stickers or you just used the chipboard elements. This is a ephemera pack object. It's a label from the Pure collection, and I'm going to slightly fold it over and staple it to this top fabric tag. And we'll pull that flag out a little bit so you can see it a little more. And then I'm going to add this little U die cut, which is from the same pack, and we'll overlap that a little bit on that folded tag. Folding the tag gives it a little bit more dimension than if you had just stuck it on your page as is. So to add a little bit more dimension at the bottom of the layout, I'm going to add a linen border that is from Pink Paisley, and this is what it looks like. It's called Artisan Ribbon, and you can machine stitch it, which is what I'm going to do, and I'm just going to add it to the bottom here. It can be misted, it can be stamped on, so you can alter the color to fit your project. Also, I'm going to add some enamel dots up here to match the enamel dots down here. We'll just overlap those a little bit. I'll go ahead and machine stitch this and come back and show you what it looks like when I'm done. So you can see to machine stitch the linen border, and if you don't have this border, you can use any kind of fabric, or you can cut a border using a die cut in typical standard paper, but I just machine stitched it along the Music Now paper. I want to add a little bit more of the red down here, so I have some washi tape from Bella Boulevard, and we're going to go ahead and add that on top of the pink tape layer. And it just brings in a little bit more of that color. And then just to add 3 layers, I'm going to add some gray doodle-like design, or rather pebbles as well. So that just gives it a little bit more of a layer. So there you have a layout that features myself, which was hard to do and a little uncomfortable, but with practice I find that it becomes a little easier to be in front of the camera and a little bit easier to talk about myself. So I challenge you again to include yourself in your scrapbooks. Thank you for joining me for today's Memories Made video. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for all of the videos in this weekly how-to series.